Hello, hi, and welcome. Thank you so much for being here. All right, now today's topic is about firstborn daughters, not necessarily firstborn daughters. Let me rephrase that. It's about children that were parentified, right? Children that became parents to their siblings, to their cousins, to the neighbor's child, to the this, to the this. And that often happens with firstborn daughters. That's why I was so, that's why I am tempted to almost make this about, strictly about firstborn daughters, right? Which I will. Yes, settled. That's exactly what I'm doing. It's a topic, it's one of those things that I personally didn't experience it, therefore I struggled a little bit to relate to it. But then, like, I went back, I flipped through my mind, and I remember in childhood having friends who honestly were their siblings' mother. And the mother is there, the mother is present. In some cases, the mother is a stay-at-home mom, but their daughters are still doing such a big portion of the parenting of their siblings. It is something that I is mind-boggling for me. I really, yeah, to the point where I'm not even gonna say much. I want us to get into these videos. As always, guys, let's get this conversation going. If this is an experience that you had growing up, please tell us about it in the comments below. If you have seen someone go through this, and how has it affected you? How has it affected your choices in adult life? How has it affected your psyche, your personality, and so forth? Let's get the conversation going in the comments below. And please do like, comment, and subscribe. I really would love to have you as part of the community. Without saying much, let's get into these videos.
As the eldest, especially the eldest daughter, you're seen as a resource, not a sibling. For whatever the reason, is something about that relationship with mothers and the eldest daughter. It is just such a strenuous relationship a lot of the times. And it is because your mom sees you as a resource. My mom, when I was younger, I was always the resource. Please make sure the kids get that. Please make sure that the kids get this. I'm sleeping. I have to get ready for work. Make sure that they're all quiet so that I can sleep. Hey, I left this food for them on the stove. Make sure that they get it. Make sure that you walk them to school. Make sure that you pick them up from school. Did you pick up such and such? It doesn't just end at your siblings. It's your mother also offering up your services to people who are her friends and family members on the outside. Hey, can you go get sister such and such from the airport? Can you go pick up this for brother so and so from church? You're seen as this resource, not a daughter, not a sibling.
I'm the eldest daughter. Of course I co-raise my siblings, but my parents don't recognize it. I'm the eldest daughter. Of course I'm type A perfectionist with a 5 a.m. morning routine. I'm the eldest daughter. Of course I got in trouble for anything my siblings did, because we're a unit, not an individual. I'm the eldest daughter. Of course I'm a chronic people pleaser. Count me in. I'm the eldest daughter. Of course I became a chauffeur to my siblings when I got my license. Who else was gonna drive them? I'm the eldest daughter. Of course I'm the mom in my friend group. Hey, are you okay? I'm the eldest daughter. Of course I carried Mother's Day on my back. Who else was giving mom the perfect gift? I'm the eldest daughter. Of course I'm the family therapist. Who else will they talk to? I'm the eldest daughter. Of course I'm an overachiever who doesn't feel like I'm doing enough.
Are you an older sister who had to take care of her siblings and now doesn't want to have kids? Hey girl, let's be friends. I'm serious though. It was just so unfair, especially if you are an older sister from an immigrant family who had to take care of her siblings. My gosh. For the longest time, I was just angry at my siblings. I'm the oldest one. I have two younger siblings, and I was just angry at them. I was frustrated. I was so tired of being expected and required to help to, make their meals, prepare their food, take care of them, give them advice, help them with their homework, look after them. And I never had any time for me. I basically had children that I didn't want or ask for or choose to have. And there I was, a third parent, or really, honestly, sometimes the main parent. And now I don't want to have kids because I feel like I did it all already and it was not fun. Maybe it was because I was young and it wasn't fun. But I also know that there's a lot to it that is so not fun. And I don't want to repeat it. I'm done. I'm tired. And my mom has the gall to be like, when are you having kids? Why don't you just want to have one kid? No, I don't want to have fucking kids. I already raised your kids.
A day in my life as an 11-year-old parentified oldest sister. So my stepmom left, and I had 4 siblings. They were 6 months, 1.5, 2.5, and 4. And there's no preparation when somebody just leaves. So my dad did best he could. He arranged for a babysitter, but I had to get them to the babysitter. So this is how my day started. I would get up around 5:30 a.m. and I would finish any homework because I was so exhausted from the night before. So I would finish my homework between 5:30 and 6 a.m. I'm in 6th grade. And I would then get my sisters up, pack their diaper bags, pack their lunch for the day, macaroni and cheese, hot dogs, whatever I was bringing over for the day. And I would walk them across the street about 4 houses down and take them to a babysitter, a mom, a stay-at-home mom on the street. And then I would go back home and finish getting myself ready for school. And then I would get myself to the bus stop. And then I would get off the bus at the end of the school day and walk straight to the babysitters and grab all 4 children and take them home. And then I would kind of be exhausted a little bit. So we'd sit on the couch and we'd talk and we'd play, and everybody was just decompressing from the day. And then I had to get dinner ready, and then I would get dinner ready. And then my dad insisted that the house be clean by the time he got home. So I'd clean up the house and get them a bath, put them to bed. My dad usually got home around 8:30, and I had to have his noodles and ground beef chicken soup with rice and ketchup because he was on a diet, and his Diet Coke ready for him. And then I would go upstairs and collapse into my bed and go to sleep. And so a lot of people want to know, why are you talking about this now? And what's the big deal? And every kid has it hard. This isn't about who had it the hardest. This is about giving a voice to those people who are using their oldest children as live-in babysitters, as caregivers. I also, on the weekends, my dad would drop me off at the grocery store and I would be responsible for doing the groceries, and there's so much more. But that was a day in my life. What did that teach me about who I was and if I counted, and how I would make decisions, who I would be friends with? That's the kind of conversations I want to start here. I want to start some conversations to say, listen, we're okay. We've just got some healing to do, and it can be done. And there were great moments in that 11-year-old's life too, because I loved music and I would sing and dance with my little sisters and my baby brother. And I would take them outside and play games. Mother May I was always trying to catch them up so they could play with me because they were my whole life. But I saw a comment recently where someone said, oldest children didn't have it harder. We all had it harder. You're just looking at it from your perspective. Listen, this isn't a contest. Anybody who had it tough growing up, totally fine. We get that. Just know that this isn't about a competition. This is about just being able to finally have a safe place to discuss some of the things that were that took away our childhood and shaped the way that we grew into adults. All right?
I got my mama, if nobody. Can I just have a conversation with firstborns, the deputy parents, the ones that found themselves having kids even though they didn't give birth to them, the ones who ended up raising children they never planned for? Are we okay? Because honestly, with me, I was not okay for the longest time. This video that I'm stitching is a video I did earlier in the year, and at that moment I didn't even realize how much it affected me until the video was done. To a point where I didn't engage with a lot of people in that video because I was so triggered. I am at a point in my life where I have one child that is my own, but I don't want to have any more kids. Because I went to bed one day with one child, and the next I woke up with 4.
So, and I remember I saw this video when I was doing research for another topic, but I remember Jessie speaking about how as a firstborn daughter, you are seen as a resource. You are not just a child, you are seen as a resource that is not only useful for you in the home, but can be borrowed out to other people as well. Oh, that broke my heart. That broke my heart. That actually made me very sad that you become more than just a child. You become a resource that can be, and it becomes so dangerous because now everybody thinks that they have the right to use you as a resources as they please. That's hella scary. I can imagine the traumas that you carry because of that. I can imagine how it informs your decisions as an adult. Most of them, as you have seen, have zero desire to have children. That's because they feel like they've already parented people, right? Heartbreaking. To be quite honest, it is heartbreaking. But anyway, let's jump back into it.
Right
do our parents expect us to raise our siblings as eldest daughters or just being the eldest in general? And I've done some research on this, and there's a specific term for this, and it's called parentification. So parentification is basically a role reversal. So the child becomes either a parent to their own parent or to their siblings. And I feel like this is such an interesting concept because I didn't know that there was a term for it or it was even like recognized. And so when I read up about it, I was like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. I can really relate to this. It's very common in a lot of Black and Asian cultures. I don't know much about Asian culture, of course, but it's not only just like eldest daughters or being the eldest. So in my culture, it's very common for the eldest to help out, you know, to raise the youngest siblings, or for siblings to come together and, you know, help the mother to raise children. And by the way, I'm from Gambia. It's a country in West Africa. And in our culture, it's very common to have this community aspect. Gambia is such a small country, so essentially we're all sort of related, I guess. When someone has a child, you know, everyone in the community helps to raise that child. Or like, if you want to go to the market one day, you can just leave your child with the neighbour next door, and it's very likely that that neighbour's like probably your cousin or something, you know? And I can understand my mom coming to this country that's got a different culture and every man for themselves, and coming from a place where community is everything and is at the heart of what they do. And so I guess for her, it was a thing where she obviously wasn't going to shift those values. That's what she grew up with and that's what she believed in, having children and getting the eldest to raise them. Whereas here, it's like, you go and get a nanny. Our parents need to understand that being born here, being first generation, we're obviously going to pick up the culture here. And there are certain values that I understand that they have and they want to continue, but it's like, I'm trying to use my words lightly, but I feel like the expectation of us eldest children or eldest daughters to raise our siblings is very unfair. And look, I honestly respect and value the whole community sort of aspect of our cultures. I think it's a really beautiful thing to have. But in the same breath, I'm like, I can't understand why our parents just automatically have this assumption that being the eldest, boom, you're a parent, you have to help out no matter what. It doesn't matter if you've got, you know, a tedious job or if you're in education, you must help out. And it's like, come on. For me, I had to learn to put my foot down. I had to learn to say no. And again, that's another thing culturally, which is like forbidden. You do not say no to your parents. You don't refuse to help out with chores. You don't refuse to help out with your younger siblings like that. You just don't do that, you know? And yeah, for me, I had to learn to place boundaries. I had to learn to say no because it just became too much. And I was like, what am I gaining out of this? Like, sure, I'm probably more prepared for motherhood than most people, but even that is sad in itself because I'm still young. And in my other video, as I said, I missed out on a lot of things and I'm quite, in my opinion, like behind with relationships and dating and like making friends. And there's all of these like repercussions of all of this. And as I said, I feel like it's important to say no, to put your foot down. I think as first generation born British or wherever you are, it's important to like change those cycles. Otherwise, we're just going to end up doing the same thing to our kids. And I personally do not feel like that is fair. And please take what I say in any way that you want. Like, I don't want any problems. I don't want anyone to go and show their parents this and say, oh my gosh, like I was said that I should put my foot down and say no. Please don't blame me, okay? I'm just here to be vulnerable and give advice, and I definitely do feel like it's time for us to put our foot down and live life for us. It's understandable that they've had their own experiences, and I know that raising children is very difficult, and they look to us for help, and help where you can, but don't raise your siblings, honestly. They are not our responsibility, and I understand that that's hard to swallow, even for me, because it's like, you're the oldest, and so your hero instinct kicks in, and you're like, I have to protect my siblings, I have to be there for them, I have to teach them, I have to make sure that they don't go through what I went through. To be honest, there's nothing that you can do to stop that. You are at the same level as them, you are also your parents' child. Yes, you're the eldest, yes, you might have had like more experience and stuff, but that doesn't mean that you have to become a parent at a young age, like, no. So if there's anyone that's out there, you know, who's worried about saying no and like placing boundaries, honestly, I feel like for me, it was the best thing that I did. And I understand that everyone's situation is different. Some people have parents who are very abusive, either verbally or physically. So please do what you can and look after yourself. Make sure that you are making the right decisions for you, because we only have one life. And I know that's such a cliche thing to say, but it's true. We don't know what happens after this life. And while you're here, you want to make sure that you live a fulfilling life as much as possible. Your siblings will always be there and they will always love you and cherish you and be grateful for what you have done for them. I think it's time for us to put ourselves first and try not to feel guilty. I know it's easier said than done, but it's really important to love yourself. And I think the first step is setting boundaries, saying no, and living life for you.
Is there anybody else out there that's an older sibling that feel like y'all missed out on parts of your childhood, or you had to grow up way too fast because you had to help raise your younger siblings? Yeah, me too. That's what I've been thinking about lately. So a lot of my followers already know that my mom passed away 2 years ago unexpectedly. And for like the last probably 6 months, I've had so many questions about certain things that took place in my childhood. I know I'm not going to get the answer to everything, but I just want to kind of dig a little bit deeper because I want to know why I act the way I act, or why I handle certain situations the way I handle them. So in going to therapy and journaling and really tapping into my past, I'm trying to get those answers. But the question is really just for us, for the Black community. Why does it feel like that when a sibling is the oldest girl, she ends up missing out on so many parts of her childhood, so many parts of her life growing up, because she has to step in and play one of the parents to her younger siblings? And I know my mom did the best she could with what she had. She was an amazing woman. I'm not taking anything away from her. And it just seems to be a trend and a cycle and a generational curse that we really need to work on and we really need to try to break, because I don't think a lot of parents understand the effect that it has on your children when they grow up and they have carried all of that weight and all of that stress that you have put on them as a child to become a parent so fast. And then when they grow up, they realize they've missed out on so much fun. They've missed out on so many parts of their childhood. And for me, one of the biggest things that has affected me as an adult, having to help raise my youngest brother, is that now I am a warrior, like I'm a parent. I have literally adopted a parent personality. And that's whenever I have friends with my youngest cousins, with anybody, I am the mom in every role, and I don't even have kids. And sometimes I don't like that. I love the fact that I am extremely mature. I know how to have fun. I know how to laugh. But the fact that I had to mature way too fast. And that just wasn't fair. If y'all have kids, please don't put so much pressure on your oldest babies. Because let me tell you something, they're going to grow up with resentment. Let them live. If you know that you're going to need help with your kids, if you have them, then just don't have them. Just wait. But please stop putting so much pressure on your oldest kids, because y'all don't understand. It's a lot. So yeah, if y'all are family planning and do all those things, like, work that out. Get a nanny, get a babysitter, do something. But just don't put so much pressure on those older siblings, because baby,
Really hate thinking how mean I was to my younger siblings when we were growing up. My sister is 9 years younger and my brother is 11 years younger. So when I was like 16, they were around 5-6 years old. And of course, I'm the eldest by a lot, and I was just so mad all the time. I was like frustrated, angry, it was just too much. The burden was too much to carry. I had to become a third parent, right? Like many of us do. And I didn't know how to parent. Like, I didn't know. First of all, it wasn't my job, obviously. Like, I shouldn't have had to learn. I should have just been able to be a child as well. But starting at 9 years old, I had to become a third parent, especially because my family went through so much adversity. So I basically treated my siblings the way that my parents and adults in my life treated me, which is not the way to parent. Every time they messed up, just because they were kids, like literally made a mess or dropped something or broke something, or I would lose it. Like, I would just get so frustrated because I would have to clean it up and I'd have to fix it, and I'd like yell at them because they messed up, which was how I was treated. But I wish that they wouldn't have gotten that from me. I wish that I could have been a sister, an older sister that was always just there for them. Instead, I got to be the mean other mom. And even then, I felt bad. I felt very badly when I used to scream at them, but I didn't know what to fix it. Like, I didn't know why I felt so bad, because I was like, this is what parents do. Like, this is what adults do. I'm just trying to teach them, trying to help them learn from their mistakes. It wasn't until I was like thinking college, or maybe even after college, that I can't remember if it was real life or a movie, but I saw white parents react differently to their kid making a mess. I think the kid like made something fall on the floor, made a mess. And the way that they reacted was, hey, it's okay. Don't worry. This happens to all of us. Let's just clean it up. And when I saw that, that was the first example of like, maybe, I don't know if that's considered gentle parenting or what, or just like being a good parent. I was blown away. It immediately sent me back to my childhood and how, in the times when I got frustrated with my siblings and screamed at them and was just so overwhelmed with emotion, and I didn't know how to control those emotions with kids. And I was like, whoa, that's how you deal with it? And it made so much sense. Like, it made so much sense. I was like, why did I not know that? Why did anyone, like, no one taught me to like react. No one was like that with me. No one told me that mistakes were okay, that things just happen sometimes, and that as long as you just clean it up, like, you just move on, I'll always remember that whiplash I got from seeing that situation and how it was handled, and how different some people's lives are because their parents know how to be parents.
Hey y'all, hey, I'm a little under the weather, so bear with me, but unpopular opinion part 6. Being the eldest or the older child in the wrong family dynamic is tough, like mentally, physically, everything is tough, right? You're a child, but you're expected to care for your siblings as if they were your child. You have to make sure that you can be the inspiration for your siblings and lift them up and tell them how smart and beautiful and handsome they are, while simultaneously feeling like you're not enough, not even having enough to inspire yourself with. But at the end of the day, forgetting all that to try to make sure that they can make it, right? It's tough not knowing what to do and not having any guidance, but pretending like you do so that your siblings will have somebody to look up to and look forward to and share things with. It's tough when you're doing everything that you can, but you feel like it's not enough. And keep in mind, you're a child at this time. It's even tougher when you have to make a decision like leaving a traumatic home so that you can do better for yourself to help them in the long run. The guilt that you feel for leaving, the worry, the anxiety, the stress that you have about what's going to happen to them, who's going to cook for them, who's going to do their hair, who's going to make sure their clothes are clean, who's going to make sure that their homework is done, all while you're a child yourself. Like, it's not talked about enough about how much you're a guide, how much you're a light, how much you're an inspiration for them, but you don't have that. You don't have anyone to look to but yourself. And what that does for you as an adult, we don't talk about it. Now, foregoing your childhood to make sure that they had one, that in itself is so intense, and some people never recover from that. But you feel like, okay, I didn't have one, so by me giving this up, at least they have a chance to have one. But you're young, so you don't get the gravity of everything that's happening. But for all of the older siblings who travailed and survived and are healing now, I wish you peace. I wish you light. I wish you everything that your heart desired but could not get as a child. I wish that for you. And no, you're not hallucinating. No, you're not exaggerating. It is tough. It really is. But y'all tell me how y'all feeling, what y'all think. Elder siblings and first siblings, y'all chime in if you'd like.
Older siblings who were forced to babysit their siblings when their parents would go out, even though they might have had plans or whatever, I feel for them the most. And I'm the only child, for context, and that, just experiencing that throughout high school and, you know, middle school was something that always struck a nerve in me. Like, especially when we would have plans, pre-planned plans for a week, and day of, my friend is like, oh, I can't come anymore because I have to babysit, my mom's going out tonight. What? Like, oh my God, it used to piss me off so bad, because it's like, in my opinion, your child is not a babysitter for the kids that you chose to have after them. Like, that kid, your child has a life too. What, because you chose to go out when your kid is also going out, your plans are more important than theirs? Yeah, I get it. You don't ever get to go out. You're a parent. But at the end of the day, that's what you fucking signed up for. You had all these kids. You can't take care of them, and you're relying on your children to put their plans aside, to put their life on hold, to take care and raise kids, because you think that you can just pass the job off to someone else. That's not how that works. Like, older sisters especially, I feel for y'all. Like, I genuinely feel for y'all, bro. I've heard so many stories, and I've seen it firsthand, the treatment and how older sisters are quite literally a second mother, if not mother in general. I feel for y'all, bro. Like, that shit used to irritate me, and it would irritate me because I know they were irritated, bro. And they would just be like, I can't do anything about it. Like, it just is what it is. Like, y'all need to understand, when you become parents, that your life is no longer yours. Y'all be trying to experience this grand life of freedom, but then go and have 4 or 5 kids. That's not how that works, bro. Like,
And there you have it. Whether you can fully relate from an experience perspective or you can't, like I did, I really couldn't. You cannot deny the fact that this is such a heavy thing to go through. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, what could the parents say? Some parents talk about how I'm preparing you for the future. This is how you become strong. but it's not. It's abuse, right? It is child abuse to some extent. And I guess some abuse is not put in the spotlight as much because it is seen as almost like society is to blame in general because they almost promote that behavior, or they promote that culture of parentifying firstborn daughters. But it's still abuse. It's still okay. It's still not okay. And I think what it also ends up doing for you as someone who experiences it, you have to now do the extra work of reparenting yourself as an adult, of making yourself realize that was not your job. How do you fix all this burden that you are carrying? There's a video that I saw, I don't know if I included it in this one, but there's a lady who was literally sitting in her car crying and saying, I've raised my siblings, they're grown, they have their lives now. Now it's just me. What do I do with myself? What am I supposed to do with all this time? What am I supposed to do with all this energy? What am I supposed to do with all this focus on me? Now I'm not solving anybody's problems. Now I'm not fixing anyone. I'm not rushing after anyone. Now it's all these people have done that. They have their life. It's almost like, you know how parents, especially mothers, the empty nester syndrome, they experience the next empty nester syndrome where they become depressed, they become hopeless, they don't know what to do because their whole identity was entrenched in raising children. This young lady in her early 30s is going through that, but with her siblings, not even with her own children. She is having to now face herself and she doesn't even know where to start. It is absolutely heartbreaking. Anyway, like I said, let's keep the conversation going. Is this something that you relate to? Is this something that you experience? Is this something that you witnessed? What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? Let's get that conversation going in the comments below. Thank you so much for being here. I absolutely love having you here. And like I always say, I'm building my cute little community, and I would absolutely love it if you were a part of it. So do subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next one.